And this is video number 2, and as the title says, the title says why I missed the 4202. Now, the first thing I want to say is the Citroen? Jeez, you can tell I've been looking at cars. The Centurion Action X is a good tank. I make no denial of it. I think the turret is meh, because anyone who knows what they're doing will penetrate it pretty easily. But it's the three things you can see at the bottom, the ammunition loadout, for me that make the difference of why I missed this tank. And for me, what I always wanted Wargaming to do is introduce a system where, simply put, there'd be a lot more complexity in this, but higher the penetration, lower your damage. Now, everyone knows that there is a thing of people who are doing marks, or just people who generally want to try and keep a higher level of play going, will fire premium ammunition rather than actually play in a certain way. And this can cause problems. Quite a lot of problems, actually. Specifically, it inflates certain people's ability levels, and specifically egos, I tend to find. You tend to get a lot of people who go around trying to say, you know, oh yeah, look at how amazing I am because I run a tier 6 tank with all premium loaded. But you'll see here that the rate of fire of this tank is brilliant. There's another video, I believe, might be on Sin's channel, I believe, where I fire the what's it called? The premium Hesh rounds, and by doing so, I actually manage to out DPM a Russian medium because I switched to the Hesh rounds. I know I can penetrate that tank. By the way, I don't think I have the messages anymore. This guy who I'm shooting now, he rage messaged me after the game to tell me that I'm a hacker because this gun can't roll over 300 damage at all, and the rate of fire I had isn't accurate for this gun, and yeah, I just don't know what to say. I'm literally remembering that as I watch this, because this is quite an old piece of footage, obviously. And yeah, sorry, completely off track while I remembered. But yeah, for me, that was the way that I wanted this game to go. Now, maybe one day it will, maybe not. I know a lot of people get tired of some of the staleness of some of the ways that this game ends up turning out. But as I say, for me, it would be a nice system. And Hesh added this real nice touch where I've had a few games. I'm afraid I don't actually have the footage for it. But if I'll try and... Actually, no, I'll try and do it again. But I can't because it doesn't happen anymore. But I had a game. Game is... We're going to cap out. There's no way that we're going to do anything but cap out. It's as simple as that. We've already we're at like 40 seconds left or something. So I switched to my premium Hesh rounds, and I know I've come up behind the other team, and I start putting the premium Hesh rounds into the back of people. And I got some really good rolls, and in four shots, I think I'd killed an E5. Sorry, not an E5, a T57 Heavy. All because of these high rolls. Now, that for me is just... It's able to change the tank. So there is no other way. 140 will easily out DPM this tank. Easily out DPM it, not a problem. Unless I fire Hesh. I switch to Hesh rounds, I suddenly can out DPM a 140. But I lose penetration, so if he's in a hold down position, no I don't. And for me, I would have a system where 1 round a minute difference is what the damage is different. Is how different the damage over the course of the minute is. So if you're firing with a 140 using heat rounds, so you've got that guaranteed, well not guaranteed, that extra penetration, you lose out on that little bit of damage. And admittedly, I also missed the hull from this thing. Now, and skill, yep, there we go. That's how you use skill. Okay, now this is why people need a bit more awareness, because like I'm speechless. Like, what? This E5 is... Oh, there we go. Now he realizes. Has the STI? Nope. Got kind of lucky there setting him on fire. STI at this point is still not realized I'm... There we go. Now he's seen. Now he sees. And he turns his turret sideways on. And you'll notice, by the way, I'm not just running around him. That is not something... People do this quite a lot. They just run round tanks. And if you're having someone run around you, keep your gun forward. More often than not, people will drive straight back in front of you. And it's a weird thing, but, so be it. Anyway, I'm going on lots of different tangents, and anyone who's watched me before will know I do that a lot. So I like this system where you've got a Hesh round as a premium round, where you do more damage, but you lose penetration. But at the same time, I wouldn't even be that against taking it out as a premium round. Make it so that heat rounds don't cost 6 to 10 or 12 or whatever the tank is. Somewhere is it like 12,000 or something for 268 with its ridiculous pen heat rounds. Take that out, but reduce the damage. Okay, take a Yagi 100. Yagi 100 gets like 350 millimeters or something, or 400 millimeters, something absolutely insane like that, of penetration with the heat rounds. Okay, drop the alpha down to like 850 or 750 or something like that. You'd have to do the maths. Well, maybe even 650. There you go. Now, if someone wants to do that, well, now what's the point in driving a Yagi 100 if you're just going to do it for that amount of damage? But okay, what if there's an E100 who's completely hull down? He's angling his turret a little bit, not enough that it bounce a heat round, but enough that it's going to make a difference to your AP rounds. But he's on 600 health. Well, okay, you take the gamble. You load the heat round tactically. And I was having a conversation with someone, and they're saying, yeah, but then people have got to learn ammunition types, so it's going to add a lot more complexity for people who are already struggling with the gaming areas. How? You already have to know, okay, I can't pen that guy, I'll load heat. Anyway. Or if you fire heat anyway, you'll know that you're going to pen those places, you're not going to pen those places. So, I mean, for me, there'd be no real change to anything, apart from you can't just spam around to improve your ability. Which for me is just one of the flaws in this game. I think Microsoft, Wargaming America did the right thing when they changed the economy on this game. So they upped the income of XP and of silver. I think the XP, me and some friends said it's roughly, about 1.35, 1.36 times more XP per game. If you look at the base XPs we get compared to the base XPs on PC, that's about the sort of difference you can expect. I say Xbox here quite a lot, and that does actually specifically mean console, not just Xbox. And then the silver income is a bit more as well, but as a result of the silver income, it's much more possible on Xbox to run all premium and profit. It's very, very hard to do that on PC, unless you're in a certain premium, or premium tanks generally, but on console, not really. On console, you can do it. You can run an E100. Now, it's more difficult in the real low damage guns. You need a certain amount of alpha to be able to do it. But that's still not that difficult to do. And for me, that is just a real fault with everything. And that's why I'd like to see this sort of a change in place. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy for a free Tier 8 Premium. I've had many of them recently, thank you very much for that, Wargaming. And I do like the 4202P as a premium. It's certainly an interesting tank. The gun on it, brilliant, and that's a feature that I am happy to have. And yes, I do have good games in the Action X quite easily. I think that extra mobility is a nice touch. And I would love the Action X, absolutely love it, if you just gave it premium Hesh rather than heat for that premium round. And admittedly, games like what you're seeing now, I think this is 8,000 damage or something in the end, this game. That is not a common thing for this tank. And for me, I found it interesting that this is one of the hardest Mark of Excellence grinds to do. I tried to 2-mark some tanks. I don't actively try and 3-mark many tanks. And this was one I was trying to 2-mark, and I actually, at first, was quite struggling, purely because I was quite surprised that the level needed to be maintained. And I think it is because of the fact that in an Object 140, in an E100, E5, E48 Pan, any of these tanks, you want to maintain a level, oh crap, I'm not having a great game, I'll just load some premium rounds, it's not a problem, done. You can't do that in this, because the premium rounds have less pen. You're not going to go through the front of an E100 who's hold down now because of that. So as you can see by the fact that I've gone through a full game rambling on about this is something that I think is a very interesting thing. Now, this is essentially a new format for me because I've never done this. This is more like almost like a talk show element, I suppose. So I'd be interested to know if me talking about issues like this, elements of the game, maybe going through the Japanese heavy line, talking about how to kill them, what's their weaknesses, blah, 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 blah. If you're interested in sort of that sort of stuff, let me know in the comments. But yeah, you can see this. I loved this tank. It was my favourite tank, the Mighty Cheese Wedge. So rest in peace to the Mighty Cheese Wedge. You will be so dearly missed, and I'll see you all on the battlefield.